Detail. Halt. Left turn. Arch. Cover. Raise it. Out. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the path we walked was so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Color. Right turn. Arch. Detail. Halt. Order. Color. Halt.
You may be seated. Thank you, Colonel Kirksey and the MHS-ROTC for being here tonight. We will now move on.
Are you on?
Yeah, can you not hear me? Okay, is that better?
There it is.
All right. We will now move on to item D, adoption of the agenda. Before we discuss that, we would like to remove item 7E. We have not been able to get feedback from the attorneys yet, so we'd like to remove that and move it to the next meeting.
Okay. Motion to approve taking off 7E.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Lisa, will you please call for the vote? Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
By your vote of 4-0, we have adopted the agenda without item 7E. Okay, we will now move on to call to the public. And first, we have Olivia Byers and Connor Schrader to talk to us about the MHS swim team. So please come up and introduce yourself. And you might hold the microphone to your, when you talk, because then the people in TV land can hear you.
You can take it right up out of there.
Yep.
There you go.
Hello, I am Olivia Byers. I'm a sophomore at Maricopa High School, and I'm the 2018 swim team captain.
And I'm Connor Schrader. I'm a freshman at the high school, and I'm just a member for the swim team. First of all, we'd like to thank the administrative office for all their support so we can have a swim team and really be like totally impossible without you guys, and we just like to show our appreciation.
We would like to show our appreciation by inviting all MUSD faculty and administration to our next home meet on September 27th at Copper Sky from 4 to 6 to show you guys all what couldn't be possible without your support. So thank you.
And thanks, guys. That's it.
Thank you for being here, and I hope that you get lots of support from the city and the school district, and congratulations. Thank you. Don't go anywhere, Ben. Next, we have Ben Owens to talk about Santa Rosa Watchdogs and our future MUSD board member.
President North, thank you. Dr. Lopman, members of the board, cabinet. Last night we had Santa Rosa Watchdogs kickoff pizza party, and thank you to Mrs. Coutray and Dr. Lopman for coming out and joining us in that. We had our multi-purpose room at Santa Rosa packed, and it was really, really great to see. We did a presentation to the board back in February, and at that point we had 50 guys or 50 dads sign up to come in that half of the second half of the school year. I know that we have more than that signed up already on our calendar, with a lot more dads or male role models that have filled out the information and said, I don't know exactly when I can come in, so I'm going to let you know, and I'll still come in. I reached out to Chief Stahl, and because a part of what he wants to do is he wants to get police officers more involved in the community and into our schools. We had 4 police officers show up last night. They were interacting with the kids, with the parents. It was really, really fun to see. And I think for me, the best part about it was those 4 police officers are now watchdogs at Santa Rosa, even though they don't have students there. And it was just, to me, that spoke volumes. And one of the sergeants, he actually did his watchdog day today. And so hats off to Maricopa Police Department and Dr. Wolfman and Patty. We really appreciate you guys and your support. It really wouldn't have been possible. And I'm kind of part of the Maricopa swim team, just shifting gears a little bit. And thank you for your support and your approval on that. We're going to have a great year this year, even better year next year. And I hope that you all can come out and the whole city come out and support our swim team on the 27th. So, and I'm excited to be on the board next year too. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for all your work on that program. Okay, superintendent's report. Dr. Lopman.
Thank you, President Knorr. It is my pleasure to kind of reiterate what Mr. Ben Owens mentioned and what you also mentioned. We have a couple people with us tonight who will be appointed to our board. I want to congratulate certainly the Pinal County wisdom of just appointing Mrs. Patty Coutray and Mr. Ben Owens to our board to begin their service in January. So how about a round of applause for our incoming leaders? We're in good hands. It's also my pleasure to give some great examples this evening of how our district continues to invest in safety, service, and success throughout the district with some top happenings. If my maestro can switch the slide a couple times. For starters, I want to congratulate Pima Butte Elementary School. In terms of safety, they are recognized for their stellar implementation of PBIS. They have been recognized by the Positive Behavior Intervention Systems for providing a positive and safe learning environment for their students and community. The PBIS-AZ Achievement Award recognizes schools for successful implementation and outcomes with school-wide systems of positive behavior interventions and support. Award criteria required high scores on national fidelity and integrity assessments and measurable student outcome data. And I really want to congratulate Pima Butte, and if we have any Pima Butte staff in the audience, do we tonight? They're here in spirit, and I'm sure they're watching. But let's have a round of applause for the demonstration of safety at Pima Butte. Also, regarding safety and service, it is my pleasure to recognize our ROTC program that we have at Maricopa High School. Here in Maricopa Unified School District, our staff models and teaches the value of service. And on Tuesday, September 11th, if we can switch the slide, under the direction of Colonel Kirksey, the ROTC cadets presented the colors, and Cadet Rossanello sang the national anthem just like he did tonight to commemorate the attacks of September 11th, and also to commemorate the unity that has prevailed since then. We appreciate the presence of our cadets, the ever presence of our cadets and our ROTC for serving as our North Star regarding patriotism, service, and gratitude. Thank you very much. There's Colonel Kirksey's in the back. He's always in the background. I want to reiterate what Mr. Ben Owens had to say about the Watchdog program and how it celebrated its launch last Tuesday night. And DOG stands for Dads of Great Students. So they serve as a presence of security and safety, but also modeling service, volunteering back at the school. And what I loved about it is sometimes dads might feel awkward about being present at school, but the way that the Watchdogs set it up, it's pizza and kids and cafeteria tables, so it's completely non-threatening, and it's the perfect entree to continued presence and volunteerism at the school. I was so pleased. Mrs. Safranek is also in the audience. There were hundreds of people there, and we only have 180 school days, so we're going to be the Watchdogs are going to be very well represented every single day at Santa Rosa. Thank you, Mr. Owens. And finally, we launched our strategic planning process by articulating the Maricopa why and metrics that matter. These metrics include things like a safe, supportive environment, maximized resources, competitive, innovative programs, transformed learning through technology, positive community connections, college and career readiness, excellence and equity for all in the pursuit of becoming a destination district in this destination city. We have a number of people in the audience who participated in that endeavor. There were over 100 there, and it was a very inclusive, very transparent process that will continue with some training in October. And then the next event, if we can look forward, one more slide, I'm out of order. The next event will be in November when we explore the underlying contradictions and the overarching strategic directions that will continue to advance us towards the path of continuous improvement. And if you'll finally go back a slide. We have our first community breakfast, our first partner breakfast coming up on September 28th. At that event, we're looking forward to highlighting our CTE programs and our AP offerings simultaneously. Our culinary department is going to put the whole thing on, like set up, prepare this stellar meal, and practice their skills in preparing an inviting environment. And then we will have one of our AP teachers, Miss Aiden Balt, who's actually here tonight, to talk about the AP programs that we have at our high school. And I think I said your name wrong. Did I? No. No? I got it right? Okay. to talk about our AP offerings and exactly the outcomes that our students enjoy because of the stellar offerings that we offer in that department. And with that, I think I've covered pretty much everything. Thank you for your attention.
Great, thank you. We will now move on to the governing board member reports. Mrs. Cotray, would you like to start?
Certainly, thank you. So it has been extremely busy. You know, now we're kicking off the school year and all of us are really busy, so we've been to attending a lot of these committees, the Strategic Planning Committee, the 9/11 flag raising ceremony, the watchdogs. Is very honored to be a part of that. And I will say at the 9/11 flag raising ceremony at the high school, Mr. Cloud's words really touched me. He talked about, you know, the tragedy of 9/11, but how it brought everybody together, and it didn't matter if you were Democrat or Republican. We were united as Americans, and as united, we stood strong and brought hope. And I just thought that was it was very touching for me. I attended the law conference with you guys. It was really a lot of fun. Learned a lot. I did do the pre-conference, which was a lot focused on school safety. And one of the things that they did stress is not just training teachers and administrators, but including all staff, the cafeteria workers, the janitors, the people that work in the front office, so that everybody knew, and not just to train them for the unthinkable happening, but just to train them just to keep an eye out for just what normally could happen. If it's a fire drill or if it's a fire, you don't want everybody running to the door because that will cause more damage and more injuries than just having people walk calmly. So it was really kind of nice. And then he also stressed, and Michael Dorn was the keynote speaker that day, he also stressed about making sure that providing a safe environment is good, but we have to make sure that it doesn't feel, that it's still welcoming, that it's still colorful. They showed pictures of these schools that had all these cameras and stuff, but you couldn't even tell where the cameras were because of the way the schools were, the paint colors, the murals. It just made it look very welcoming, even though it had all this high-tech equipment. So that was a good takeaway. One of the other keynote speakers talked about dignity and respect, which was really an awesome thing. You may not agree with a person's opinion or respect their actions, but you must always, always show them dignity. It was just an amazing conference. One of the breakout sessions I went to was talk about restorative justice, which is something that Betty Fairfax High School has been doing, and something that we might want to look into at a later date, because when I'm looking at the demographics of that high school, it's very similar to ours. So it would be something maybe we can look at down the road. I did attend a VFW cleanup with the Blended Learning Program. They do it on a monthly basis. Our next one will be in October, beginning of October. And I was confirmed that I am going to be on the Arizona School Board Association nominating committee. So that's a done deal. So on December 3rd and 4th, I'll be busy doing that. So in case you haven't heard, this week is homecoming week. Monday night kicked it off with the staff versus students flag football game. I was honored that they asked me to be on the staff team. They were really desperate. I declined, but they did offer me and allow me to be a coach for them. I coached them to their second win. They beat the students, and they're looking forward to next year. We only had one injury. I hope Mr. Miller's doing well. But, it was a good night. Tonight was the freshman game, and tomorrow is Ramfest. Now, I know on the flyers that are out there, it says it starts at 4:30. It actually starts at 6 at Copper Sky. There is no alumni game.
Yes, there is.
I thought it was canceled.
No, they've got an alumni game.
Okay. So the Ramfest still starts at 6. There'll be food trucks there. And then Friday is the parade, and it'll start at Maricopa Wells, go down Honeycutt, and end at the high school. So I hope to see everybody out there, and of course for the big game. And don't forget to get your T-shirts, game day T-shirts. I bought mine today at Ace Hardware. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Judd?
Well, I think Patty's pretty much covered everything that's happened in Maricopa over the past 2 weeks. This is a tough act to follow. But I will add some of the comments on attending that law conference last week, specifically in regard to the restorative justice and some of the statistics that were being provided and how successful that program was. I really think that is something that we should probably look into a little bit more closely. In addition to the law conference, I also attended the ASBA legislative agenda selection, you could call it system, which Tori just did an amazing job. And I can't, unless you're there, it's very difficult to explain. It is a large group of people from all over the state of Arizona with a variety of opinions on how to approach funding education or not funding education. And Tori did an amazing job in being able to hold them together and also narrowing ASBA's focus in terms of what we should be focusing our energy on legislating for, and ASBA giving Chris Cotterman a hand up there and giving him some freedom, being a little less specific, a little bit more broad, but also more focused in terms of bringing that list down to some things that the whole state needs instead of what if each different community needs. And I think it makes, it gives ASBA a much more powerful voice. So it's always enjoyable being down there and being a part of that process, and did a great job leading that.
Thank you.
In addition to the law conference, I was, the fruits of the summer conference are here tonight. We were just sharing a table with Ms. Kenyatta Price, who's going to be representing College Board, and I'm very glad to see her here tonight. It's one of the best things of attending the conferences. It's not always the breakout sessions that you attend. Sometimes it's just who's sitting at your table, and they share with you what they do, and before you know it, they're here presenting, which is great to see. So I greatly appreciate you coming out tonight. And that's all I have. Thank you, President Moore.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Judd. Mrs. Anderson?
Okay. I did attend the strategic plan with the community, and we did have the mayor and the city manager and council members there, so it was a nice mix. And I was very excited with the document that came out of that, or at least the ideas to continue the conversation. So the facilitator was amazing. To pull as much information out of all of us as she did in that 4 hours. Phenomenal. So thank you, Dr. Lotman, for making that arrangement. It was very, very, very moving. I also want to try not to cry. Cadet Rosanello and the ROTC. You make me so proud to be an American. And I am so proud of this country. And thank you for singing and for gracing us with your time and your energy. So Commander Kirksey, you do an outstanding job with our young people, and our country's in great hands, if it's any indication of what we've got coming out of our high school. So thank you. I also want to shout out to Butterfield and Pima Butte. I think it's great that they got the PBIS acknowledgement. I know some of our other schools are also studying that, and I think it is a great way to help our young people become the greatest that they can be. So I think that's great. Our homecoming, the alumni game, is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at Copper Sky. So the alumni is going to play the high school staff. So that should be interesting. And then the alumni game, or the home football game, is Friday night. So, and they have cheer practice tonight. And I was supposed to ask President Noor if I could go and miss the board meeting. But so that should be fun. All of us old cheerleaders out there should be interesting. So that'll be fun. And then, of course, the homecoming game is always a good time to see everybody and watch all of our kids play. The law conference was very informative, as you've heard all of the above. The dignity piece was pretty incredible, and there is a text message you can sign up for, and you can get a dignity newsletter that kind of shows you how to put pieces of it into your community little by little. So it's an amazing tool. If any of you are interested, email me and I can shoot you that text message and that website, but it's a dignity newsletter that's written by the presenter, and she's phenomenal. I think she also has written several books on,
If you're familiar with Queen Bees and
Yeah,
Wannabes,
yeah.
it's a very popular book.
yeah. So that was my takeaway. It really made you think about, are we creating a community of dignity, and are we teaching that? So that was very important to me. And then, obviously, the legislative piece, I just wanted to share with you, it was pretty incredible that we were able to get all of these delegates with some heated discussion, but with dignity. So I'm very proud of our legislative agenda, and so I just wanted to read off the 4 items since we only have 4 this time instead of 400. So it's adequately and equitably fund district schools to at least the national median per pupil funding. We felt it was important to set a figure, and we should be getting at least the national median, and we should expect it as parents. So parents, I'm really going to be urging you from now until February to start emailing your representatives, especially after this election, because we need to demand more for our students. Preserve and strengthen local control, improve outcomes for all students, and require public accountability for taxpayer dollars spent on education. And then there is a supplemental sheet that it goes with each one of these 4 items that lists in detail the different pieces that go to support that legislative agenda. So this is a nice, short, concise document that we can hand people, we can hand to parents, we can hand to our representatives, and they're actually going to read it. It's not just going to get put in the pile. So I'm proud of it. I'm proud of our delegates, and I want to thank Mr. Judd here for attending. His support was important. He even came to my presentation on Friday. I had to present it at the conference on the whole legislative process. So it was, thank you, Mr. Judd.
You are most welcome.
So it was good. I enjoy being able to share what we do here, but I enjoy being able to bring all of the board members across the state together for one common message. And to me, that is a very powerful message, that we will not settle for mediocre anymore. And I'm very proud of what we've done. So thank you, this board, for giving me the opportunity to serve and to be a part of ASBA's ongoing long-term vision for our students in the state of Arizona. So that's all I got.
Great, thank you for your report. I guess I will finish up. I was also able to attend the law conference and the strategic planning meeting, and I echo all of their comments about both of those. The strategic planning was amazing, and I think we all were in awe at the presentation on dignity and respect at the law conference. Learned a lot, and hopefully we can implement some of those things here in Maricopa, in our schools and in our community. And I want to recognize Councilmember Henry Wade, who is in the audience. He supports our school district and always comes to our board meetings. I want to thank you for being here. And I was also able to attend the Desert Wind Middle School Toy Expo. And that was a great time. There were so many people there, you could barely walk, which I think is
That's what I heard.
is good. Yeah, it was packed, and the students showing off their toys that they invented and having to present to the parents and community members, and it was just a really great event that the Blended Learning Program put on at Desert Wind, so really happy I could participate in that. And other than that, we will move on to our next item, which is information work study. 5A, Maricopa High School teachers that attended the USMC Boot Camp for Educators. I think they're here in the back. It's your turn.
I was very much looking forward to this.
Yeah. They even have their boots on to represent boot camp. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are not raincoat boots.
I know.
We don't go for fun.
Yeah, exactly. Or comfort.
First of all, thank you for allowing us to speak this evening. We wanted to thank Colonel Perksey for giving us the opportunity to attend the Marine Boot Camp. It was a great experience for both Ms. Beth and I. We have an average of about 5 to 7% of the students that are part of the RTC program. Today I heard from Mrs. Russ that we have about the same amount who, upon graduating, enter into one of the armed forces. Both Cheryl and I were able to experience for a brief week what it would be like. We stepped on the iconic yellow bibs. We participated in recruit training techniques, military tactics, marksmanship drills, and we learned of educational benefits. We learned that the core values are honor, courage, and commitment. The pride we saw in the young cadets who grew to men in a few short weeks was astounding. I feel that this experience has been a once-in-a-lifetime experience that we are proud to have been a part of. Students frequently ask about the experiences that we had the opportunity and a bit of street cred through this. My students are surprised that upon walking into the room, they see pictures on Cheryl's wall outside the classroom of her and I looking tough with our drill instructors. We are tough. We're English teachers. We can't tell you enough of what a great opportunity it was. The biggest thing that we saw, I think, for us was seeing our students all day and seeing the struggles that they have, or not being sure of what the future might hold for them. As teachers walking into a room full of young recruits who had no idea what they had to offer or look forward to. They were offered opportunities, they were offered educational benefits, they were offered family. And the two things that we heard consistently throughout the time that we were there were pride and brotherhood. If there are any other teachers, educators, staff members, district board members that would like to attend, they are looking for all of us to go and join them. It's not necessarily a recruit training in the sense of what they do, but they definitely show us what wonderful young people we have coming into this world to move forward and help us and make decisions regarding our education, our benefits, our life. So it was a great experience and we really appreciate it.
So, good evening. Go to the next slide, please. My name is Sergeant Henson. I just took over.
Can you use the mic so that they can hear it on the TV set?
The Marine Corps representative for Maricopa High School.
Oh, nice.
I just got here about 5 months ago. I used to be in Gilbert, but I just moved down to Maricopa District about 5 months ago. So I'm down here and we're providing an opportunity to take teachers and staff to the 5-day, 4-night event of the Educators Workshop, where teachers come down and they learn how Marines are made, essentially. They go and see where they sleep, where the recruits eat, the training they do, the physical training, as well as the different obstacle courses they go through their full 3 months of training. They even get to experience it and go through some of the obstacle courses. You guys want to speak a little bit about them?
Well, the few that we were able to go to, they had different things that we were allowed to do. So this was, I think I hit it twice. This was us at the very beginning. We had a drill sergeant that had us go through. They taught us how to stand, how to march, how to sit, how to ask for commands, how to request permission to do anything as educators. They definitely saw a new side to what they do each day. These are all of the recruits that came from Arizona, and then the other 28 recruits were from Texas. So there were 2 groups. We went to the bayonet range where we dressed in combat gear, and they ran us through a series of obstacles with our weapons. We had to dress ourselves and then run the obstacle course in a certain amount of time and do certain tasks that were required of us, and then stack everything up, and of course, as all good Marines, put all of our equipment away properly. This was them showing us how to hold our bayonets and what to do with those things. And inside here, we get to sit in the barracks and talk with drill instructors, what the young men do during their free time when they have time to write home. The biggest thing for me was seeing them sitting around talking with one of the drill instructors, where they have young men come in and ask questions about life and home, marriage and families, what to expect, how to manage their money and what to do. They gave them great experiences of life. And one of the things that I learned most for me was being concerned about my child, student, joining the military. We all have that concern that they may not come home. This for them was life experiences that I couldn't teach them in a classroom. The things that they learned there and the things that they taught us was incredible. And I hope at some point we have the opportunity to share it with the parents and the kids in our community and have a meeting such as this. Just show them what a great opportunity it is for our recruiters to come in and give them options. Not everybody is a high school graduate and ready to walk out the doors and join a university, and that's okay. But the realization that they have so many other opportunities offered to them, so many things that they teach them, and family and pride in what they do was amazing, which is what we learned. We also got to go to Miramar. And I met some lovely young women. Where we were at, the recruit training depot is all young men. So we got to meet some young women who also gave us their perspective, because of course it's different. So that was a great thing. The single moms, opportunities that they offer, care plans for their children if they're ever called to active duty. They're an amazing bunch of people that support each other and give them that family aspect that they may or may not have had. These were our graduation certificates that we received at the end. Everybody that went through the course at the end of the last day, we got our little certificates with our drill instructors. The young men and women that were with us throughout the week not only taught us what it was like to be a drill instructor or a recruit, but then every evening also sat with us, had dinner with us outside of uniform, and talk to us about what it meant for them and their families to go through this experience. Good. Thank you so much. Oh.
Thank you all for supporting us. I'm the quiet one in the bunch.
Which day?
Today. Anyway, I submitted the board members, you'd like this, Councilman Wade, I've submitted the board members for an air refueling flight on a KC-135, and I'm waiting on the approval to come back. So barf bags, if you have them, might be approved. In the meantime, have a great evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to share your experience. We will now move on to item 5B, overview of College Board. Ms. Kenyatta Price.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. That was an awesome conference that we had, that we attended. And so I am going to talk to you a little bit about College Board, what we're doing, why I'm here in Arizona. Again, I'm Kenyatta Price. I'm one of the directors of the College Board, the regional office in the Western Regional Office. And I just recently adopted Arizona about February, March. So bear with me, I'm new, I'm learning the lay of the land. But we have a lot of great things for students and for educators, especially as the state is beginning to sunset AZ Merit for state accountability. So now students have the opportunity to take a state accountability test in addition to it being a college admission exam. So they can kill two birds with one stone now. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what we have. So let's talk a little bit about College Board and some of the things that we offer with regards to college readiness. And Dr. Lotman, you kind of gave me a runway there with regards to AP. So we have about 38 courses in AP. The thing I want to note about AP is that it's rigorous coursework. So you're preparing your students for college level work. It's a college level course taken on a high school campus, okay? So I know oftentimes you hear about qualifying scores, the 3s, the 4s, and the 5s that'll get you college credit, that'll save you money in college, and that's great, and we want to see that, and we offer lots of support in order for students and educators to do that. But I think the reality of what we miss sometimes is that AP courses are rigorous courses in themselves. So if more students take AP courses, regardless of what they score on the exam, they're preparing themselves for college, and they'll be more comfortable when they go to college. They'll be used to having that type of rigor. Okay? AP Computer Science, I don't know how popular that is. We are trying to get the word out about AP Computer Science principles, which is different than AP Computer Science A. AP Computer Science principle, there's no prerequisite needed for it. Teachers do not have to be in a particular subject or teach a particular subject in order to teach AP Computer Science principles. It's coding, it's the things that students are most interested in right now. Because of the number of STEM jobs that we are expecting in the future, we want to introduce students to more STEM type courses, and this is a gateway. We've noticed that since we've introduced AP Computer Science principles, that we have more females, more Hispanics, more African American students taking AP Computer Science and getting into the STEM fields. So this is great. These are great data points that we have, and we just want to encourage students to kind of test it out. If you're thinking about coding and some of the things that, and gaming, things like that, that fun stuff, check out AP Computer Science principles. Let's talk about our suite of assessments. So in 2014, we redesigned our SAT. So notice we went back to a 1600 scale for those who are seasoned enough to know that it was a little bit more than that before. And we got rid of the no penalty for guessing. So remember, we used to take off points if you guessed. It was a quarter, you know, we took off different points for that. We removed that. So now you can guess, and there's no penalty for guessing. And we got rid of those pesky SAT vocabulary words. So when you study just SAT words, well, we got rid of those. So now the test that the SAT that students are taking is reflecting what you're learning in class. So we do have higher ed partners. We also have K-12 partners. We all sit down together and decide what questions, what material needs to be covered. So when we redesigned the SAT and made those changes, we also back mapped all the other assessments. So now we have the PSAT 8-9 normed for 8th and 9th grade students. And then we have the PSAT NMSUT, that's for 10th and 11th grade students. And then we have the SAT, which is for 11th and 12th grade, and that's your college admission test. Here's the neat thing that I want to bring your attention to. Now that we redesigned all of the assessments, they are all aligned. College Board believes in this so much, in the alignment so much, that we're saying if an 8th grader sat down with all other circumstances being the same, on that same day, with all other circumstances being the same, that's the exact same score they would have scored on the SAT. That's how tightly aligned they are. So in essence, schools that are offering the PSAT for their 8th grade students, they're essentially practicing for the SAT as early as 8th grade, okay? So you can see how the score bands line up. All of the assessments measure evidence-based reading and writing. That's one section. Math, that's the other section. Those are your reportable scores for colleges. That's what they're looking for. But then we have sub-scores, and this is something neat that we've done. So now we have sub-scores, so students, when you see that you get a particular score on math, we're not just saying, okay, well, you got this on math. No, we're telling you exactly where your challenges are and where your strengths are. So now we can tell you, oh, the heart of algebra, you really excel. Or you're having some issues with problem solving, let's work on that. So we're pinpointing the different areas to make your studying more efficient and to help you in your classrooms. I also want you to notice that we do not have a science score, a science test that's separate. Our science is embedded throughout the entire test, okay? And I am going to leave some leave behinds with you so you can see the difference between the ACT test, science test, and our science questions that are embedded within all of our questions. And this is important because those students or those districts that would like to implement SAT School Day, right now you may have to also take AIMS to fulfill that science component, and our argument is that you should not have to. So I'll leave this behind for your reference. So the PSAT, that's coming up October 10th, and that is about 2 hours and 45 minutes. The neat thing about the PSAT NMSQT for you 11th grade students is that it connects you to lots of scholarship. It's the NMSQT portion is our national is a partnership we have with National Merit, and that, depending on your score on the test, you qualify for scholarships. But in addition to that, we have over $235 million worth of scholarships that are tied to these assessments. So National Merit is only for 11th grade students, but the 10th grade students and 11th grade students who take it in the fall are also eligible for other scholarships from our other partners. So if you are interested in putting your name out there and getting information from colleges, from scholarship folks, then when you take your test, you can, the student search service, you'll opt in, because the default is opt out. So you want to make sure that you opt in on the answer doc, or you create a free College Board account and opt in there. And these are some of our scholarship partners. Okay, here's a quick review of our dates. The PSAT is coming up on October 10th, and then we have a Saturday date and an alternate date. And then the PSAT 10, which is actually offered in the schools. This is just for 10th grade students. So schools can offer this for their 10th grade students. It's the same test as the PSAT and SQT in the fall, but it gives the schools and the sites flexibility because of their schedules to offer it to the 10th grade. And those scholarships are tied to that too. And then the PSAT 8-9 that we mentioned as well, the schools have the opportunity to offer that in the spring as well as in the fall. Okay. SAT, remember the PSAT was 2 hours 45 minutes, so SAT is 3 hours. And then the essay is optional. That's another change that we made when we redesigned the SAT. Here are the dates for the SAT. Our higher ed partners recommend that students take the SAT beginning in the spring of their 11th grade year. Okay? Now, what's new for us, and then here are the college readiness benchmarks. So on the score report that the students will receive, it'll show their college readiness in English reading and writing, and then evidence-based reading and writing, and then in math. But here's what's new for us, and that's SAT School Day. So SAT School Day is an opportunity for students to take the SAT during their school day. So nothing else changes for the students except for they're taking a high-stakes test. So the bus runs the same, everything, so they don't have to change anything. The reason that we did this was to eliminate the barriers that some students may face. Family obligations, work, transportation on the weekends. So now the district or the sites can offer the SAT during the school day to their students. And the students also have an opportunity to take the test with familiar faces in a setting that's familiar to them. And so students tend to do better for SAT School Day. So before this was under a district contract, but now individual schools can offer SAT School Day, and there are discounts if students are eligible or are income eligible. Okay, here's the neat thing about SAT School Day and the fee waivers that we offer. We're all about access and opportunity. So those students who are income eligible will receive a 2 fee waivers for the SAT, 2 fee waivers for SAT subjects, which equals 6 subject tests because there's 3 per sitting. And then unlimited score reports, that's something new that we've allowed. And there's no late registration. So if a school offers SAT School Day, the student does not exhaust their fee waiver. So in essence, that's 3 fee waivers for the SAT. But the neat thing about that is that they still reap the benefits of the waiver. So they still get the application college application fee waivers in their account. They still get the score sends. They still get all of those benefits without exhausting their other fee waivers that they could use on Saturday admins. Here's one of the best things I think the College Board has done, and that's that we partner with Khan Academy. Khan Academy is a reputable online tutoring company, and what we did when we made the redesign is that we partnered with them to offer students free and customized SAT practice. So here are the data points from that, and that is with 20 hours, not 20 hours a week, not 20 hours a month, 20 hours total. We're seeing an increase of 115 points from the time that they took one assessment to the next, okay? Now, for me, I like to look at the big picture here, and the short-sighted view for me is that, yes, the kids are getting better scores on their SAT. But let's think about this. The Khan Academy is customized practice. So the student sits down, they take their test, they send their test off, they create a College Board account, they create a Khan Academy account, both which are free. They link them. They have to give permission to Khan Academy. Khan Academy pulls the performance, the results from that test, and creates a customized SAT practice plan for them based on how they performed the day they sat for that test. So what that means is that they're looking at their strengths and they're looking at their challenges. The short-sighted view, like I said, is that they will increase their SAT score. The bigger picture for me is that if students are sitting down working on their challenges based on how they did on the exam, we should see improvements in the classroom. Okay? So 115 points increase with 20 hours of practice. We also have different resources, and I'll flip through these pretty quickly for our educators. We have a portal for our educators to view scores and to work with the parents and the students about to explain these scores. And then different resources that we have available for educators to give presentations to their students. You can download PowerPoints, you can download PDFs to hand out to students and parents. We also have modules, electronic modules for people to understand what our suite is all about. And then we have Score Week, which we allow their webinars to understand about our assessments. We also have a website for parents, and we have one in Spanish. So this is and I'll make sure that you all get this information so that you can disseminate, so that you can share this information with your families and your students so they can understand what these tests are all about. I also want to say one thing to parents about the Khan Academy, and that is that there is an educator or a parent-facing side. So if you can set alarms, so if Johnny is supposed to sit down and study at 5 o'clock, Mom and Dad will get an alarm at 5 o'clock that says that Johnny is supposed to be sitting down, so you can track if they're really doing the work. And students, I'm sorry. But this is an opportunity for us to all support the students. This is my information. Please, please, please do not hesitate to contact me. I'm just a 48-minute flight away. I will leave my cards and the leave behinds about the science here, because I do have another point to catch. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Well, I have to tell you, Ms. Price, that your comments and your presentation is perfectly aligned with our goal to have excellence and equity for all students, and I can see the transformations in the programs and the testing that you're actually helping us remove barriers. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Judd. Nice job.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you again to Ms. Price. And as soon as you sat down at the table with us that night and started explaining what College Board is, I was like, you need to present. You need to come to Maricopa and present, because it really stands as a great resource, especially to parents that are, I have kids going to college, what do I do?
Right.
Where do I go? And this is an organization completely set up to help those parents. And it's a goal for Maricopa to continue to send kids to West Point for the 3rd consecutive year. And then maybe, who knows, a Brown, a Cornell, a Yale, a Harvard, and that's the goal, and getting kids there, and we'll need your help getting them there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, well, thank you for asking for that to be on the agenda. That was very informative. We'll now move on to item 5C. Mr. Aaron Roush, review the monthly financial report.
Thank you. Members of the board, Dr. Goldman, I'd like to review the July monthly financial report. And as you can see, we're kind of honored to honor Senator McCain tonight. And with the Air Force ROTC, I believe this is a picture that was taken in Casa Grande, Mr. Beckett, and that's really special for us to honor both the JROTC and Senator Kane. This is also one of my favorite monthly financial reports because in July, again, our budget for M&O, maintenance and operation, is $45,954,000, and we spent $1,500,000. So we are officially at 3.36%, and for business managers, that kind of makes it pretty happy. So we have 97% at this point to spend. So I always like to see that. So that's fun for me. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Are there any questions for Mr. Roush? No. Thank you so much. We'll now move on to item 6, the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Lisa, will you please call the roll? Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
With your vote of 4-0, we have passed the consent agenda. We'll move on to our action items. 7A, Mr. Beckett, he's ready to go.
Thank you. President Noor, members of the governing board, Dr. Logan, you have the personnel schedule in front of you tonight, and I will take any questions that you have at this point in time.
Questions for Mr. Beckett?
Believe it or not, I don't have any questions.
Anyone else?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the HR agenda.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the HR personnel schedule. Lisa, will you please call the roll? Present?
Yes.
Present, yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm still not used to this new system.
Aye.
By your vote of 4-0, you've passed the personnel schedule. Thank you, Mr. Beckett.
Thank you.
Are you also item B?
Yes, he is.
Discussion and possible approval of District's 2018-19 301 pay for performance compensation plan.
Thank you, President Noor, members of the board, Dr. Logan. Tonight, we are presenting to you the district's plan, proposed plan for the Proposition 301 pay for performance. We did have a committee that meeting just for a little bit. This plan is identical to the plan that we've had for the last 2 years. We are just asking for your support. We did have a robust 89% approval rating, which is the highest rating for approval that I can remember for our district. So I really appreciated the input from staff. There were some things that were brought up in the course of the meeting and comments that were enlightening, and we're working on some of those suggestions. And we would encourage your support in the passage of this.
I don't have any questions or discussion, so.
I think after going over it, the only concern that I had is making sure, because I know that when it comes down to do evaluations, specifically at the high school, because, you know, you have a lot of teachers there, not quite as many administrators. It's crucial that the individuals that are being evaluated by individuals that should be evaluating them, because 100% of their 301 money is attached to that. So I just want to make sure that that's going to be the case at all times, considering that it is 100% of the money.
Well, Member Judd, appreciate your comment. Again, this was speaking a little out of my expertise area, but I know that our principals have worked very hard to work on that inter-rater reliability portion of their jobs, where they're actually being able able to consistently, evaluate people and see the same things whenever they're in the classrooms.
It's just because I know, again, as a teacher, how difficult it can be sometimes for the administrators to be able to get to everyone. It's a lot of teachers to go through evaluation with, and it's easy to end up, with a system of evaluation where the teachers aren't being evaluated by someone that really should be doing their evaluation. So, and also based on the fact that this is 100% of their 301 money, that is crucial that that should be the process.
If there's no discussion, I would like to make a motion to approve the 301 performance pay.
A second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Lisa, please call for the vote. Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
By your vote of 4-0, you have approved the 2018-2019 301 Pay for Performance Plan.
On behalf of the teachers, thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move on to item 7C, discussion and possible approval to change the date of the October 24th board meeting. And the proposed date to change it to would be the 17th of October because of fall break, but we can discuss.
Well, and one of the reasons, and I had asked to have this put on too, was because the state of the city is now the 24th. And typically, many of us go to the state of the city, show our support to mayor and council. And it's always fun to see what he's going to do. Last year he zip-lined in. This year, I don't know, there's a picture with the DeLorean. I have no idea. So we'll see what Mayor Price is up to. But it happens to be our only board meeting in October.
So I'm fine with the 17th, keeping in mind that we will be meeting on the 16th with the city council. So I would also entertain an idea to have it after the 16th, because I don't think it should be too long of a board meeting. So either one of those days will work for me, but it'd be nice to only be gone one day.
I get that, but I don't think, since it's our only regularly scheduled board meeting, that we should change it off of a Wednesday. Because that's typically what we do.
I'm good either way. What's good with you guys? What do you want to do?
I'm open every night for the rest of my life.
I'm good for having.
We hope not to fill your schedule.
It doesn't sound like there's any objection to having it moved to the 17th.
To the 17th.
So.
And not on the 24th.
All right, with that said, motion to approve the move of the MUSD board meeting from October 24th to October 17th.
I'll second.
At same time, 6:30.
Same time, 6:30, yeah.
I have a motion and a second. Lisa, will you please call for the vote? Yes.
Yes.
Aye?
Aye.
By your vote of 4-0, you have changed the date of the October board meeting to the 17th. Item 7D, discussion and possible approval to participate in a joint meeting with Maricopa City Council on October 16th at 6 p.m.
Sounded like everyone was pretty much on board with that, so unless there's discussion.
Really, that joint meeting is the brainchild of Councilman Henry Wade, and I don't know if you wanted to come up to the podium. I don't know if that's inappropriate or appropriate, but...
Oh, yeah, I don't know if you can.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
we
You know,
Sorry.
it's agendized, he
It's
can.
agendized,
Oh, he can,
but
yeah.
He can.
Okay.
But
I don't know.
Sure.
Madam Chair, Dr. Logan, board members, just push one slight change. It's actually 5:30.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good to know.
Good to know.
That's 5:30
Yes.
on that day.
Important information.
Yes.
And it will
Okay.
be treated just as we do a regular session, a regular study session.
Council meeting. Oh, study session, okay.
So is that in the chambers?
It will be in the chambers, yes.
Okay.
And the public is invited to the chambers.
Great, thank you.
Josh, is 5:30 going to work for you? Because that, I know that's
It's going
pushing
to be
it.
tight, but I think I can make that. With that said, motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Lisa, will you please call for the vote? Yes.
Yes.
Aye?
Aye.
With your vote of 4-0, we will now participate in a joint meeting with the Maricopa City Council at 5:30 p.m. on the 16th. Great, and we removed item 7E when we adopted the agenda, so we are now on item 8, adjourn. And I think I can just adjourn the meeting, we don't have to vote on it, like I can open a meeting. That's what my school, well, we can vote, but we'll look into that because this roll call vote thing's making me crazy.
I do think you can just move to
There's
close.
any way that we can,
Yeah, I think I can just adjourn.
Yes,
I can
we are officially, yeah.
declare the meeting adjourned.
yes,
You
Cobain's.
declared it.
Yes,
Just
this
do-
meeting is adjourned, and it is 7:39 PM.
I love that.
Yes, me too. All right. Do we have a book to sign?
I'm
So that was
sure.
one of my complaints.
We always have something.